It was just another ordinary day at the cafe, bustling with the usual morning crowd. People chatted, coffee machines hissed, and waiters hurried between tables. Among them sat a young woman, calm and composed, her eyes fixed on her phone. She had no idea that a simple, everyday request she was about to make would completely change the course of the morning. "Excuse me?" she said politely to the man sitting across from her, a well-dressed, seemingly wealthy gentleman. "I just want to see my balance." Her words were casual, almost offhand, but they carried a weight that neither of them fully understood yet. The millionaire, amused by what he assumed would be a trivial amount, chuckled softly. Surely, he thought, this would be a small, unremarkable number, nothing worth noticing in the grand scheme of wealth and money. He leaned over with a confident grin, ready to offer advice or a playful remark, but as the screen lit up in front of him, his laughter froze. The numbers he saw were nothing like he expected. His eyes widened, disbelief creeping across his face. How could such an ordinary woman, who seemed so unassuming, have amassed such an astonishing amount? The casual request had pulled back the curtain on a reality he never imagined, shattering his assumptions in an instant. In that quiet moment, amid the clatter of the cafe, the millionaire realized that appearances could be deceiving, and that sometimes a simple, everyday request could reveal truths far more surprising than any fortune he had ever known. The millionaire leaned back in his chair, his laughter still lingering in the air, amused by what he assumed was going to be a trivial display of someone's modest finances. He had seen countless accounts in his life, numbers, that fluctuated by the millions with a mere flick of a finger. To him, wealth was ordinary, and anything less than extraordinary barely caught his attention. Yet, something about this woman's calm demeanor piqued his curiosity. She didn't seem nervous or impressed by his presence, and that alone was unusual. "Show me," he said with a hint of playful arrogance, expecting a balance that would confirm his assumptions. He leaned closer, his eyes scanning the screen, as if the numbers would somehow amuse him further. For him, this was just a small game, an entertaining diversion in a day that otherwise promised nothing remarkable. He imagined he would see a modest sum, maybe a few thousand, and he would chuckle again, shaking his head at the irony of ordinary people dreaming big. But even as he waited, a strange feeling settled in, a mix of curiosity and anticipation. There was something in the woman's confident gaze, the way she held herself, that suggested she was not what she seemed. The millionaire's mind, trained to read people in the language of money and status, sensed an anomaly. This curiosity gnawed at him, a rare spark of uncertainty in his otherwise confident world. What could she possibly have, and why did she ask so casually, as if it were the most ordinary request in the world? In that brief moment, the millionaire realized that curiosity could be more intoxicating than wealth itself. It was a puzzle, a secret wrapped in simplicity, waiting to be uncovered. And little did he know, when the screen finally revealed the truth, his assumptions would be shattered beyond recognition. The moment came, like a sudden gust of wind, unexpected and impossible to ignore. The woman handed over her phone with a calm smile, her eyes steady as the millionaire leaned closer, fully expecting to see a small, inconsequential number. He was ready to laugh again, ready to shake his head at what he assumed would be a modest balance. But as the screen lit up in front of him, laughter caught in his throat, replaced by complete disbelief. The numbers staring back at him were staggering, far beyond anything he had imagined. His eyebrows shot up, his hands trembled slightly, and for the first time in years, the millionaire was genuinely speechless. This wasn't just a large sum. It was monumental, almost surreal, especially coming from someone who appeared so ordinary, someone who hadn't flaunted wealth or status. Every assumption he had made about appearances, about who could have what, had been completely wrong. The cafe seemed to fade into the background. The hum of conversation, the clatter of cups, the hiss of the coffee machines, all of it became distant noise as he stared at the screen. Questions flooded his mind. How had she accumulated this? What did she do that was so extraordinary? And most importantly, why had she never revealed it before? In that instant, he realized that wealth alone didn't define a person, and his own arrogance had blinded him to the hidden stories around him. The woman, meanwhile, remained composed, almost amused by his reaction. She didn't gloat or boast, she simply let the truth speak for itself. And in that quiet, revealing moment, the millionaire learned a lesson he would never forget. The most astonishing discoveries often come from the most ordinary of requests. What seemed like a casual, everyday question had unveiled an extraordinary reality, one that challenged everything he thought he knew about people, money, and appearances.